So what Kaplan points out is that there are simply too many things in these people's homes for them to see each item individually. It's unlikely that they know where things are or how they're organized, despite their claims very forcefully that they know where everything is. It's unlikely that that's the case. Sometimes they will acknowledge that they're unaware that they have some of their possessions. They might be surprised to find them in the sorting process. Um, Many of these objects have not been treated particularly well over the years. They've been damaged or soiled with, in some cases, mouse poop. And despite that, some of these people really want to hold on to these items, even if they've been, they have droppings on them and are really probably quite toxic. Um, Many of these mementos have been buried for years or decades. They have not been cared for. They have not been kept in very good shape. There are probably plenty of people who do organize large numbers of things. However, it's clear in the case of most of these hoarders that these things are not sort of super well organized or easily accessible. It's it's evident in the course of the show that many of the memories with which the people are attaching to these objects only come about when the decision is being made to keep or get rid of them. It's not as though they're looking at them every day and thinking through those memories. It's only when the decision has to be made whether to keep uh, an item that they start to invoke the memories of what that item represents. Um, for some people, clutter is an effective way of, for lack of a better term, burying their emotions. So um, by not seeing all of these things, that's one way to displace some of the emotions that are attached to them. Um, they hoard in an effort to avoid pain associated with items or just general, emotional discomfort in their lives. So this hoarding activity allows them to sort of displace that those negative emotions. Um, there's not a whole lot of evidence of sentimentalizing before someone comes to their house and starts sorting through their stuff. Um, Sometimes engaging in positive nostalgia related to items will help them push away negative experiences that might also be associated either with those items or that point in their lives. So hoarding does a lot of work for these individuals to help them get through the emotional trauma that they may have encountered right around the time they started hoarding or before. By focusing on the stories people attach to these items, it does make the hoarder more humanized. It makes them more relatable because everyone has stories about items. So, in a when focusing on a behavior that is quite different than what most people are familiar with, by focusing on this sort of storytelling, it does allow audiences to connect and even sympathize with the folks that are hoarding. Uh, this all occurs within a domestic setting, so these are people's homes, people's apartments. Um, so it's more relatable to do this in a setting that's familiar. Obviously, a hoarded home or a hoarded apartment is not exactly familiar to most of us, but the idea of a home and what should take place in there, that one should eat and, relax on a couch and, use the restroom without it being cluttered. Those are all things people can relate to. Um, the hoarders and primarily those that are nostalgic hoarders, so not exactly the people that are living among 70 pizza boxes that they have no real emotional attachment to, but nostalgic hoarders are given a little bit of dignity in this show. They have a backstory, they have a history that the show is focusing on. uh, Nostalgic hoarders have an awareness of time. They remember how long ago these events occurred. And ultimately, that kind of a connection to history is sympathetic. It's recognizable. It's something that's relatable to the viewing audience. However, and in the case of the folks in this picture, some hoarders are really inflexible. They can be mean, they can be nasty. Their behavior, while similar to the home audience in the storytelling component, does remind viewers that hoarders are quite different. They don't behave in the same way that we think of as a part of daily lives, and in fact, many of them have instances of severe mental illness. So that's part of being both similar and different, that sort of attraction and repulsion in reality TV. And in the clip we're going to watch, we're going to see a rather famous person, Ron Jeremy, who's a porn star, but was also on The Surreal Life and has sort of a popular culture presence beyond his professional career, where he has a friend that's a hoarder, and he's quite surprised at what he encounters. In the end, the final narrative of these shows is the cleanup. Sometimes the folks will go into therapy or continue to work with an organizer as a part of the aftercare of these shows. Many struggle to maintain their homes or keep cleaning their homes if they don't complete it in the fixed amount of time. And for those who are unsuccessful, they often show no change in their behavior, and they continue to fight with loved ones, and we'll see that in the clip.